up, get out right out of your bed, that's your quicksand. Getting rid anxiety and head, you can fix it. Rid of stigmas, all of them you said, we ain't listening. Just remember, try to do your best, you can win this. Maurice Benard, State of Mind.
Okay. How's everybody doing? Good, 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 good. You like me in the jacket? Yeah. Red shirt. You know it, Jackson. Nobody laughed. Okay. If you like what you see, always hit this button right here. It's the red button that says subscribe. It's free. And if we can, I already said it a million times, I'm going to say it again. Tell your friends, because I know all my, I've gotten already all my fans. It's like I can't, it's hard to move anymore. It truly is, because we're all watching State of Mind on Sundays. But if you can tell your friends and people to hit the button, even if they don't watch, and we'll get to 200. And I will say this. When we get to 200, I'll do something. I'm not sure exactly what, but I'm going to do something really cool. And you guys are going to be like, yeah, maybe I have I'm getting ideas already, like a bunch of actors, and we just hang out and stuff. All right, anyway, enough of me, or State of Mind. Who I got today is, first and foremost, I don't know her that well, but I can say this, just by her energy and by looking at her, she's a sweet person. Okay? Whatever that means to you, that's fine. But I love sweet people. I just do. My wife is sweet. You know, it's just the way it is. And of course, she's talented and she's new on the show. She's actually kicking ass. Sorry, didn't mean to say that. Yes, I did. She's a soccer player, a journalist. She's been working in front of the camera for forever. She's done some stuff that I want to talk to her about, but not now. Her name is BRAEDyn BRUNER. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for those lovely, lovly words.
Well, I never say anything I don't mean. That's the truth.
I appreciate it.
So this is your first time on State of Mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you and I, we don't know each other too well. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, we're friendly with each other. We say hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Braden. How are you? Good. How are you?
Just like that. You sound just like that.
And I'll get into this. It doesn't matter. So the Nurses' Ball, it's been this week, and you've been doing some stuff, right?
Yeah.
How do you like it?
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love my storyline right now, and
yeah,
I've been really lucky that I have a lot going on, and she's such a nuanced character, which has been such a blessing to play as an actor. Like, I love getting to, every time I get a script, I feel like I'm just getting a peek into more of who she is, and that's been really fun to uncover. And obviously I can't spoil anything, but some stuff coming up I'm really excited for.
Yeah, the stuff coming up, but
yeah,
there was some stuff happening at the Nurses' Ball too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and I don't get to do anything.
No, I know. We've had 2 scenes together. Or I've addressed you as I've said hi, but we haven't really had any sort of conversation thus far. I know. Hopefully.
Yeah, it'll be, I mean, you know, and I work, it's almost like, I love working with the young actors, you know. In my day, I don't know if you know, but I loved taking actors in and being like a mentor, and just it was more satisfying than my success. I loved it.
Yeah.
Steve, whoever. I mean, I got about 10 Emmys with all of them. But I just love young actors. And also because no one did that for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I mean, I had acting teachers that really were influential in helping me in my career, but never actor would, when I was on All My Children, when I was young, no one would take me in. So that's why I love it.
Yeah.
So where did you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up
Texas.
Yeehaw. Yeah. I grew up North Dallas, in a small little farm town called Lucas, Texas. I think when I moved there, I mean, it was mostly land at that point, very underdeveloped. One like bait and feed store. We have one stoplight. I think it was like population 3,000, something like that. One high school.
3,000?
Now I think it's like triple that, I would say. But it's still, I mean, it's such a small area that you can only fit so many people there.
You had chickens and all that kind of stuff?
We didn't have a farm, but I had friends that had the horses and the cows and the chickens and llamas. Was it someone I knew?
You know, I
had
have 3
llamas?
alpacas,
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
4 goats.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, 3 alpacas, 4 goats. Yeah, and we got 2 horses.
I love animals.
But
I
you guys
wish.
didn't have any?
No, we didn't have a ton of land. Like where our house was, we didn't have a ton of land. So also, I don't know who would have taken care of them. Like thinking about my parents, I'm like, we had dogs growing up, but I'm like thinking about having a bunch of animals. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you have to have somebody like my brother-in-law who's going to take care of all that.
Yeah.
Cleaning it up, feeding.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. And I wouldn't do it. I mean, I don't do anything, but if you're going to have that you need somebody, and you have to pay him and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were in this small little town, and then you went to school. How were you in high school? Were you like the way I grew up, it was like the jocks, the smart people.
Sure.
And then there was the fighting people, the tough people like me, right?
Yeah.
Where were you?
That's such an interesting question because when I heard school at first, I thought about how I was in elementary school.
Oh,
whatever
tell me
reason.
elementary.
Yeah. In elementary school, because I was so different in elementary than I was in middle school than I was in high school. I was such a shy, painfully shy child. Like
You were?
I know it's shocking now. I talk to anyone and everyone now. I'm very extroverted.
No, but I could see that at some point you
Yeah.
were. Yeah.
No, I was extremely shy. I cared a lot about my grades. I was very into reading. I was telling someone yesterday that I read the Twilight series in the first grade, and they were like, "That's insane." I was like, "I know, but that was just my life. Like, I would just read as many books as I could."
Wow.
And I still love to read. I wish I spent more time doing it, but
Yeah.
I was very high achieving when it came to making great grades and all of that sort of thing. And then I had great friends, but I think I wouldn't consider myself being like popular by any means.
Oh, you weren't popular?
No, especially not in elementary school.
So when did the shyness go? What
Probably,
grade?
I would say not until I was probably like a freshman in high school. I think I still, in middle school, I went through that super awkward phase, as everyone does.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the confidence to be that friend that approached, other people and was super social. And I was never the initiator. But if you were someone that came to me
Yeah.
and start talking to me, yeah, I would open up and I would be super talkative. But I didn't have the confidence to do that, to approach people. And
Now, when you're that painfully shy,
yeah.
does that involve any anxiety or depression or any mental illness?
Sure.
Or is it just, I'm so painfully shy? And this is interesting, man, because, this is interesting because I've really never gotten into this.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this a while. I've never gotten into shyness. Because shyness So tell me, because I'm going to get into this.
Yeah.
It wasn't anxiety or depression. It was just being shy. You were so embarrassed to maybe what you were.
That's an interesting question because I think that's something I look back on now as an adult, and I can kind of pinpoint anxiety and things like that. But when I was younger, I don't think I really understood what that was.
No one did, right?
No, and it's especially growing up in the South. That's not something
No.
we talk about.
Right.
Or if you do, it's kind of like, don't talk about that. Like that's
Exactly.
hush hush.
Exactly.
That's, people are going to perceive you differently or, however. And
Or
so
get over it. It's not that big a deal.
all the time.
Right.
All the time. And so I think that manifested itself in a lot of different ways when I was younger. I had a lot of OCD like tendencies.
Right.
I had a lot of like little tics that I can look back on and be like
what tics?
I would like twirl my hair like absently and like not even like noticing that I was doing it.
Yeah.
But it was so bad. And I've like shared this with a few people and it's not like an embarrassing thing or anything, but I would twirl my hair so much that I had a bald spot like for 2 years of my life from the age of like 10 to 12 that I can look back at photos and be like, I was so stressed out, but I didn't know what emotions I was feeling. Like, again, it's not something I was like expressing aloud.
Right.
So, but like looking back at 24, I can be like, no, that little girl was like anxious or, whatever.
Well, that was nerves, right?
Yeah. I don't know what over. It was just, maybe it was the social thing of like, or the confidence thing and, whatever, the OCD. I don't know.
I get it. But
Yeah.
I want to get into the shyness thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm bipolar, and I don't know if you know, but everybody seems to know. But I'm bipolar and all that's something different. But let's say anxiety, because depression, that I don't think that would be you have any depression maybe then. But did you feel pain inside? Like when I get the kind of anxiety or any kind of anxiety, it's fear. It doesn't leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was any of that happening with?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, I think also, again, I talk about like OCD, but I think it can be very cyclic. Like, so I can go through periods, and even as a kid, I look back and I'm like, okay, well, that's what it was. Like, I would go through periods where like I felt I described it as like being in neutral, or like shy being like my neutral state. And then there was times where I was like, I'm feeling this overwhelming anxiety for like whatever reason, or like not being able to pinpoint it. And there was definitely that sort of, I don't know if it was pain or more so I feel like I couldn't relate in the sense of I feel like I'm the only one going through this. Like, I don't know how, like,
Wow.
I feel like I'm the only one that thinks this way.
Yeah, yeah.
And that can be really isolating. So I think that's maybe where the pain comes in of the isolating of feeling
And
of it.
did you feel it in your body?
Oh, 100%. I think that's, even if I deal with anxiety now, it usually manifests first for me physically before it manifests as anything else. And
And this turns it worse?
Oh, 100%. The spirals and the course, yeah.
That's interesting, the shyness.
Yeah.
So when you would be in a room, you would just look down.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's interesting though, because I've been acting since I was 5, right? Or that's like when I did my first like, commercial, whatever. I didn't really get into it until I was 16 or 17. I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I think I always kind of knew somewhere that this is what I wanted to do. But, being as shy as I was, I did definitely question it sometimes. But acting class and like having to be vulnerable and get in front of people, it was the one thing that I was like, I don't have to, I can pretend. Like, I don't have to be shy today. I get to play, Hannah Montana whatever it is. And so it felt like I can just be whoever I want to be. And then when the scene is over, I'm me, but like here I am.
You can hide in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. I won't get into. I mean, I won't get specific. But I just went through something this week.
Yeah.
It's kind of what you're talking about. I was going through something. And I was, and people know now, yeah. But if I had said this 20 years ago, people would never think that I had this. But I was terrified to go into work the next day, to act.
Yeah.
Because mentally, I'd already said, if I fuck up, I'm not going to be able to act anymore. I'm just not going to do it. And I mean it.
Yeah.
But I changed the mindset the night before. I put on 50 Cent.
Nice. Good go-to.
Right. And just started doing my lines back like forever. And I tell actors, just have it.
Yep.
But I have now, because of my bullshit that I have right now, and it's not even anxiety, I have to overdo that even.
Yeah.
I work a lot anyway, but now I got to do it. Now, the true sign was going in and doing the scenes that I was terrified of. And you're absolute, I did what you just said. I became this guy, Sonny.
Yeah.
And the old Sonny. That he ain't to be fucked with.
No.
No. So, and the person that I had worked with, he'd only seen not that guy. So I had to change a whole thing. Get it?
Sure.
And I went in, and thank God I did it. And I wasn't going to, and it's just the mindset.
Yeah. Did you come out of it feeling like lighter or
Yes.
like, yeah.
Yes. Lighter. Like I accomplished, and I'm proud of myself for accomplishing that.
Absolutely.
And Braden, it's like there's a thin line between hit or miss.
Right.
And if I had missed, I would have called my wife, said, baby, I can't, she would have been pissed off, but she'd have been like, honey, you can do it. You always do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's freaking cool. This is a good talk early on, having such a deep talk.
I love it.
Wow. So in high school, how were you?
Honestly, like going into, I think it was, I wasn't super athletic growing up. However, I played every sport. Like I did play soccer for 14 years and I was good. I wasn't great by any means, but I had such stamina in terms of like, I could run for forever.
Wow.
And no, me and my sister are both like that. Like, so I joined cross country, I joined track, I played basketball just because I didn't want to do off season. Like that's the real reason why I joined all these sports. But I think.
What about cheerleader?
No.
No.
That didn't interest me. Also, I'm terrible with like choreography. I don't know what it is. I can memorize a million lines, but you give me choreography to learn, and it's just.
You know what? You and I are a lot alike. You didn't even know. I don't like choreography.
I don't either. But I think it was getting into sports, making friends that were like outgoing, and I think I just gained a lot of confidence. I honestly. I don't know exactly where it came from, to be honest. I don't know if it was like some sort of overnight thing. I don't really remember what the change was. I just remember just being really outgoing one day. And it's interesting, too.
Yeah, how did you don't know that the click over?
Maybe I need to think about it more, but I'm like thinking about how I was raised, and I'm thinking about my parents. And I was talking to someone about this yesterday, too, that was asking me about like my parents and what they do for a living. And my mom is such a shy person. My mom is so shy until you get to know her, which I feel like that was me when I was younger, right? Until you got to know me, you would think I'm painfully shy. You get to know my mom, and she's really outgoing. She's such a
but
I'm person.
I'm shy too.
Yeah,
we're like two peas in a pod right now.
But it's so funny because my dad is so opposite.
Oh, he's outgoing.
So outgoing. like will talk to anyone and everyone, like strangers on the street, like the guy checking us out at the
Like
grocery
my
store, he'll
dad,
make
yeah.
friends with,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
exchanging numbers.
Yeah.
And people will come up to him in Dallas, which Dallas is pretty large.
Yeah.
And he does work in public schools and has for years. So, you know, he's met many parents and students and things like that over the years. But they'll be like, Mr. Bruner, and like start talking to him and he'll have these full on conversations. And we were at the mall one time in Dallas and a student from like 8 years ago had come up to him and was talking to him and left. And he goes, I'm going to be honest. I don't know who that was. Right. And I like had a full on conversation with them. I was like, Dad. But they're just so
when
opposite.
When you're famous, that happens all the time. I've talked to people, I don't know them.
You're like, yeah, it's great to see you again. I have no idea who that was. But it's funny when I look at my parents and I'm like, I feel like I used to be so much more like my mom. And then like as time has gone on, I'm like, I'm just like my dad. But really there's a fine line. I think I'm really like, at this point right now, I'd say I'm like 70% my father and maybe like 30% my mother.
Yeah.
But it's just it's interesting how that works. But yeah, thinking about the shift between...
Well, maybe you just grow out of it.
Maybe that too. Yeah, like I grew out of like, I was talking about my tics earlier and I was like, I don't do any of that anymore.
Yeah, you grow out of it.
Yeah.
And you don't even know.
No,
and
it was just one day.
Yeah, it isn't like something has to happen maybe.
Right.
Like I was watching Easy A. You ever see this
great
movie? Yeah.
Yeah.
And all that stuff and goes on in there, you know. But wow. So then you graduated with honors, obviously. Because I can see that. I was the opposite, so we don't have that in common. I barely graduated.
That's okay.
And then you got into acting came, right? I mean, or you've been acting for a while, but the biggest thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and this is kind of serious.
Sure.
How was Barney?
Oh my goodness.
And
That's
Barney and Friends.
I mean, I was on there. That was when I was 8 years old, and I was only like a day player.
Ah.
Yeah, I wasn't a series regular or anything, but that was like one of my first jobs.
That was?
Yeah. And do you know what's so funny about that is that was at a point where, yes, I took classes and I love taking classes, but I was more in love with watching, I think, at that point. I was more in love with, because I fell in love with watching films first.
Yeah.
And watching TV first. That's all I did. Every day I'd wake up in the morning, 6 o'clock. It was time to eat breakfast, watch my cartoons before school, come home, do my homework, and watch whatever was on Disney Channel or whatever it was, or whatever movies were out in theaters. My family loves going to the movie theater. Working on Barney,
You did see Barney, right?
Yeah, I met Barney. I have pictures with Barney and I forget the other two dinosaurs on the show at the time. And I was so excited to go on Barney until I found out.
What?
The day that I booked it just happened to, this is such a silly thing looking back on it. My second grade class at the time, it was around Christmas, and I remember it was that time where we got to watch the movie instead of doing classwork, and so they were watching the Polar Express that day, and I was like, Mom, I had a breakdown the night before. I was like, Mom, I'm going to miss the Polar Express. Yeah. My mom was like, Braden, you're going on Barney. You can watch the Polar Express anytime that you want. What do you mean? And I was just like crying about it. And I was like,
what?
You're right. But then of course I got there and I had the best day ever. But no, it was a great experience.
And Barney's cool, or was he kind of...
He's not allowed to talk to you. Fun fact, Barney, like the actor inside the suit, there's a rule that he's like not allowed to actually like talk in his real voice.
Does he hug you and stuff?
Yeah, he hugged me, and it's kind of like meeting a Disney character, I feel like, at the park.
Yeah.
Like they don't really talk to you, but you still feel like the love, I guess.
Yeah, but that show's not on still, is it?
I don't think so, because that shot in Dallas. It was one of the few things that shot in Dallas.
Oh,
like
that shot in Dallas.
Yeah. So I didn't have to go anywhere for it. It was like a 20-minute drive from my house or something like that. But I had friends that were series regulars on Barney when they were like 8 and 9. It was a common thing for Texas kids, Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato.
Really?
Yeah, a couple of my friends like start on Barney. If you're from Dallas, you're probably on Barney at some point in your life. It's true.
I wish I was met Barney.
Yeah.
But you also did something with Justin Long.
Yeah.
How was that thing? How was what him and his brother, right?
Yeah.
Because I wrote that, I didn't know what the hell. I wrote Long Christian Long. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I
Yeah.
said, oh no, it's his brother.
Yeah, what an experience. We shot that.
How old were you?
That was last summer.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, it was quick. We were the last, because it was an anthology series that they combined into one feature-length film. And so we were like one segment out of, I think it was 4. And we shot it in a week, and which was so quick. And we were the last segment to film. And then it came out like literally in October, like before Halloween. So it was like the fastest process ever. But I will say that was one of the greatest filming experience I've had because Justin Long, I mean, he's a comedian, right? Like
Yeah.
you've probably seen him, and
He's the kind of, he's got black hair.
yeah, like brown hair,
Yeah.
like kind of goofy guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've
But
seen
good actor, man.
great actor,
Yeah.
versatile actor. I don't know
Yeah.
if you saw Barbarian, that horror movie, or if you like
No,
horror
but
movies.
I've seen him in enough stuff, and he can act. Yeah.
He can act, but not only can he act, can he direct? And I think
Like, what does he do that you felt that was?
I think it's because he's an actor that he just like gets how to communicate his vision really
Yeah.
well. But he could, because it's a dark film. Like the plot is I'm one of the like, I guess you could say like they call it a final girl in the horror movie. So it starts off with me and this group of kids. We're animal activists, and we go to like infiltrate this doggy daycare because we suspect that she's doing like unethical things to dogs. She ends up kidnapping me and my co-star, and then puts us in cages. So I had to be in a cage, and then transforms us into dogs. Like while we're still human. Like it's very dark.
No.
It's so dark. But it's also funny. There's a lot of humor in it, which is interesting.
Wow.
And Justin wrote the script with his brother, directed it with his brother, and they have such a levity and like joy about them that it made what could have been, I feel like, such an uncomfortable, dark experience be so, I don't know, just not be that way. It was such a joy, and like I was so excited.
You
go
had
to
one of
work
the
every day.
leads?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It was cool. And I got cast straight off a tape, which no callback,
Nothing.
nothing,
Damn.
which happens sometimes nowadays.
And then the movie came out in the theater?
No, it was a straight to streaming. There's a huge horror streaming platform that I didn't even know about, and I love horror films. It's called Shudder.
Oh.
And I mean, pretty much anything that's horror is on there.
Really? Shudder?
Yeah, Shudder.
I did a film, a horror film. I guess it's a horror film with Mickey Rourke. You know Mickey
Nice.
Rourke?
Yeah.
Called Nightmare Cinema.
Ooh.
And actually the critics loved it. I thought it was all right, you know,
Yeah.
that horror stuff, but he was a trip, man. I won't get into that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Finola Hughes.
Oh, yeah.
She's fantastic, and
is
she
fantastic.
she's your champion.
Mm-hmm.
Good to have.
Yeah.
Good to have. And what are your scenes like? What's going on? You're her daughter, right?
I'm her granddaughter,
Oh, granddaughter.
which I know she looks so young to be a
I
granddaughter.
know. Well,
But yeah, I mean, our relationship. I mean, she's my idol. I think on the
Yeah,
show,
yeah.
she really is. Like, I mean, not even just as the character, but like as a person. Like, I do idolize her, which makes I think acting in scenes with her so much greater. It's because I don't really have to act.
yeah.
And she's we work in a very similar way. Like she's all about the play. Like she's
Yeah.
all about like learn your lines. That's foundation of everything. Like learn it till it's concrete,
Yes,
and then
yes.
you get up there and it's just be present, be active, be listening, and like let's try it 50,000 ways and like see what lands.
Right, right.
And which creates such beautiful moments in our work. But I mean, I knew from our screen test, like just reading with her, I didn't really get to talk to her or anything, but just
Oh, really? Just went and read?
her energy though.
Yeah.
I was like, I would love to work with this woman.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
Yeah, she's great.
She's so funny. But yeah, in our storyline right now, I feel like there's a lot of deception going on, like between the two of us. Like we're just like, I'm very independent. I want to do a lot of stuff by myself, but I'm very much like Finola was. Like when she first came on in the 80s, like she was the really kick-ass, like independent, character. And I just want to be like her and I want to do everything myself. And she's totally on to me though. She's too smart. Anna's way too smart. So I'm interested to see where this storyline goes if she ever cracks what I'm doing.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Well, I chem read with Gio on the show.
Right.
We did 2 chemistry reads together, and all of our scenes have really been together. And I think that's definitely the plan. But right now we're kind of in that I'll be there for you stage of the friendship and that slow burn kind of
Well,
thing.
there's nobody else, right?
No. No.
I mean, I don't know. I can't think of. Well, there's Rocco and all that.
Oh, they're too young.
They're too young, right?
Too young, no.
There's
great actors, though. Oh my goodness.
Nobody at that age.
No.
At the age you're thinking about.
It's a small group.
Yeah. All right. Here, I don't do this too often, but I want you to ask me 3 questions.
Ooh, okay. I like that.
And I'll answer the questions as honest as I can.
Okay. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice. My dad used to always say, lo que va a pasar, va a pasar. And that means, don't worry about it. What's going to happen is going to happen.
That's nice.
I like that. But I think the best advice that was never really given that I've figured out is don't care what people think.
That's a big one.
Yeah, if I had learned that in my 20s, I would have eliminated a lot of suffering.
I would agree on that.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing that gets, and I don't want to talk about it again because, no one said don't talk about it again, but I've been in here with a lot of people and I've figured out, and unless somebody can prove me wrong, that the people who care about what people think usually are mentally ill or have had some kind. People who don't care, they have nothing. Like my wife, my son. I've had Frank Grillo in here. He's like, I don't give a shit. Stephen A. Smith, I don't care. They have no.
Sure.
It's interesting how that works.
Yeah, for sure.
So I will continue to work on that. It helps you out in life, I think. Okay, next.
Okay. Maybe this is dark. I don't know.
Nothing's dark for me.
Okay. When you die one day, what do you want people to say about you? Above anything else.
When I die, on my tombstone or whatever, I wanted to say, that God created me to suffer so other people don't have to suffer.
That's amazing.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, I need to echo something on that. Like, I am so thankful for, like, things like this and spaces like this and, like, people who have podcasts and, things like this, because the amount of people's lives that you do touch and the lives that you do change, I bet it's like you won't even know all you know? And so I think, that's part of purpose and like why you're here.
Yes.
Like right now, 100%.
Let me tell you a little story.
Yeah.
Since you've been very open and I'm getting emotional.
Emotions are great.
I know. And it goes to what you just said, when I was in a mental institution and they put me in a room called the seclusion room and they tie you down from your waist, your ankles, your wrists, and I couldn't I couldn't, I was trying to get the fuck out. I couldn't move. So I got to the wall. There was a latch about that long, and I got the latch. I busted it off. I went back to my bed, and I put the latch on my wrist. And then I said, God, what's going on? Please help me. Please help me. I opened my eyes, and I take the latch, break it in half, and made it into a cross and put it by my bed. And I knew as much, that's why I said to you about pain earlier. Yeah. I was in so much pain, but I knew deep down that there had to be a reason. Yeah. Because, I mean, why me? Why are you putting me through this shit? What did I do? I mean, I don't know. I didn't do anything bad in life, really. But that's why. And it's funny you say that, because just yesterday, 2 days ago on Friday, I was talking to somebody about state of mind. And you guys don't get crazy. And he says, it's great, yeah. A lot of work. I said, yeah, sometimes I want to quit, really. And I'll get a comment, I'll get somebody coming up to me that makes me cry, and I say, I can't stop.
No. And I also want to say, like, I was thinking about this a lot lately, too. Call it, like, whatever you want, like these sort of emotional fragilities or these, like, idiosyncrasies that we have as human beings. But it's like, I don't think I would be, and I don't know if you feel the same way, I don't think I would be half as empathetic as a person or kind as a person or be open-minded as a person if I didn't go through the things that I've gone through. And it's like people are like, oh, but doesn't that suck that you had to, like, go through that thing? And I'm like, yeah, in the moment it was horrible, but it's like, I can look back on that and just, like, how resilient, like, are you? Like, are we to, but not only do that as artists, like, we, and, maybe you feel differently about this too. It's like, I think Jim Carrey was talking about this.
He's great.
Oh, he was talking about, he's like, people are like, why do you act? And he was like, because I'm broken. Like, I'm a broken person. Like, we're broken people living in a broken world. And, like, people who don't act, oftentimes we can resort to, like, anger or like, outrage or, whatever it is. But we go and we make art. Like, we make something beautiful, whether that's, like, a bouquet of flowers or, like, a painting or whatever it is. And it's just, I think that's so great. Like, I don't know. So I'd been thinking about that a lot lately.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right in that. I mean, we have to feel people that are mentally ill. We have to start feeling that because of what we went through, we are now better, as opposed to, it's too much pain that I went through. Sure. We have to feel like it's a badge of honor, right? Yeah. And I say, people who are, I'd rather talk to people that have been through stuff like that, because it just makes us interesting. Because then if not, if you haven't been through anything, you're just like, how many interviews have I done? You're like, and I'm like, okay, well, all right. But, I mean, I always find something to make it work. But it's very true. It's all for the better. Now, for me, I talked about this too. Sonny had bipolar. I had bipolar. So I'm a method actor. So I'm like, yeah, baby, I'm getting in there. It's the dark guy. Everybody's afraid of me. And it made the acting great, right? Better. Yeah. But what I didn't know is that my life suffered. I just kind of disregarded that part. Yeah. But the acting, yeah. Because, this guy's been through breakdowns, and then I have to go through breakdowns. Sure. So, and I've paid for it later in life now. But I'm starting to, this is an interesting talk. I'm starting to feel like I can overcome anything.
That's amazing.
That's kind of what you want. But when we're in it,
Right. It's different.
it's the end of the world, right?
Sure.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Please help me. Oh, there's no.
Yeah.
But it all passes.
Yeah. This too shall pass. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go, okay. Like I'm going through stuff as we speak.
Sure.
I won't get into it too much because I don't want it all out there. But here I am having fun.
Having a nice conversation, which is what life's about. Like, this is the stuff as I get older that I'm like, this is what's meaningful. Like, this is what life is about. It's like, I just want to sit and I want to talk to people. And I mean, I love people so much. I think that's also a part of why I love acting. But also, I think the cool thing about actors is, in some way, like, we're all kind of cut from the same cloth, or like, I don't know. It's different than talking to someone who's not in the industry. I don't mean that in like a pretentious way.
No, I get you. I
Yeah.
get you.
There's like a level of understanding that is sometimes, I think, it's harder to relate to people that don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, listen. I'm going to talk to the audience about you, even though you're right in front of me. This took a turn. This state of mind took a turn, which I kind of was into, like, because it was good, and then we got into some deep stuff because she went in there. I think when she started asking me questions, we got into some even deeper stuff. But she was already deep, which I love about Braden. This wasn't I don't know if I thought it was going to be a fluffy interview, but it kind of was. But it was not that at all. And I just want to say, like, I love having the young actors come in here because, as we know, my audience is, it's a certain age audience, which I love you guys, you know that. But to have young people, I want to be able to bring in the young people, and because I think it's important as far as mental health to have the young generation listen to what she just talked to and what we just talked to. Very important stuff. It is, and I know it is because I say it is. Just kidding. Anyway, it was great to have you.
Thank you so much.
It was a great talk. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I had a great time.
State of mind.